Welcome back to Monster Tamer, a 2D Pokemon-like RPG created Phaser 3. Previously, we worked on updating our monster battle scene to go ahead and have UI components to show how many monsters we have in our party. If you missed the previous videos, there'll be links in the video description to the source code to this point, as well as the complete source code for this video. There'll also be a link to the previous videos if you'd like to catch up, so let's get started. So now that we've finished updating our battle scene to handle supporting multiple monsters and handling when our monsters get knocked out, as well as updating our UI to have visuals of how many monsters are in our party, we're going to go ahead and start working on refactoring some of our monster party scene to handle additional functionality for multiple monsters. And so this is going to include creating a new menu that's going to allow us to do different things like use items on monsters, view their details, release them into the wild, and move their positions. And so what this is going to look like is we're going to go ahead and update our monster party scene. So right now it looks similar as it did before, but now when we click on a monster, we're going to get this menu here. It's going to be very similar to the menu we use in our world scene. And so we're going to work on refactoring that so we can reuse that into a shared component. And so what we'll be able to do is we can choose summary to see our monster's details like we did before. And then we can also move our monsters around so we can change their starting location in our party. Besides that, we're going to go ahead and add the ability to go ahead and release a monster into our wild. And so we'll have this new submenu here for confirming things like this. And so we'll be able to release a monster, and then it's going to go ahead and remove that monster from our party. And this is going to start setting us up, so then that way as we add more monsters to our party by catching them, we'll be able to release them as well. So to get started on these new features, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to work on refactoring our menu component from our world scene into a reusable menu component that we can reuse in our monster party scene. So go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and go into our source code. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to go into our world folder. Then we have our menu config and our menu files here. So let's go ahead and open up both those. And so what we want to do is we want to go ahead and abstract out anything that's specific to our world scene into a new class and then have a shared reusable menu class. And so what we're going to do is under our comment folder, we're going to go ahead and just copy our whole menu subfolder into here. So let's go ahead and do that. And then what we'll do is let's go ahead and open up those instances of our file. So menu config can stay the same because for our menus, we'll want these to be the same across our game. And so we'll use the same configuration here. And then so if we go ahead and open up our menu class, what we'll want to do is let's go ahead and remove our menu options here. And because these are specific to our world scene, we won't want those in our base class. And then what we'll go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and update our references. So like for our available menu options here, instead of being our menu options, we're just going to say this is going to be a string. And then same thing down here. And then we'll need a way to pass in our options that are available for our menu instance. And so currently we have these hard-coded in our constructor, and instead what we'll want to do is we'll want to expect that as an argument. And so we're going to add a new argument called menu options. I'm going to go ahead and copy our parameter here, and we'll add in our new parameter. And so we'll do menu options, and for our type, this is going to be a string array. And what we'll do is we'll set our available menu options property to our argument that we just received. And then what we'll need to do is come down to our getter for where we get our selected menu option, and we're just going to go ahead and return a string. All right, so with that, now we have our base class for our menu, and what we'll want to do is update our world menu to extend this class here and only pass in what we actually need. So what we'll go ahead and do is come back to our world folder, and then we have our menu folder here. I'm going to go ahead and create a new class just so it's isolated so we can easily test. And we're just going to do world menu.js. And so we're going to go ahead and export out a new class. We're going to do export class, and this is going to be world menu. And we're going to go ahead and extend our menu class that we just created. So we want to make sure we reference our common menu and then our menu file there. We'll go ahead and fix our import so it has .js. And now what we'll want to do is we'll want to go ahead and add in our constructor. And so for our constructor, we're going to need our phaser scene. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to jump over to our old menu here where we have our menu options. Let's go ahead and copy those options in the type definition, and we'll paste it into our new world menu class. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy our constructor here with our type definition. We're going to replace that inside our world menu. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is we need to call super. So we're going to need our phaser scene. And now we need our menu options. And so for our menu options, I'm just going to go ahead and copy this array here. So that way we have the same options we had before. All right, so now what we'll want to do is actually test and make sure everything works. So let's go ahead and jump over to our world scene. And what we're going to want to do is we want to replace our menu here with our new world menu. So we'll go ahead and update our import. So we no longer go to world menu and then menu.js. We're just going to go to world, and then we're going to go to world menu.js. And now we'll need to update our references in our code. So our type here for our menu will be world menu. And then what we'll do is we'll come down to our create method, and we're going to replace menu with world menu. All right, so real quick, we're going to go ahead and test. And so if we go ahead and go into our game, let's do a new game. And so once we get to our world scene, if we go ahead and press our enter key, we should see that our menu still appears without any issues. So if we hit our back key, we should close. If we go ahead and go down to exit, we close. Go into our bag, we're taken to our inventory scene. When we choose monsters, we're taken to our monster party scene. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and save our data, and we'll come back to our code. All right, so if we come back to our code, let's go ahead and go over real quick what we just did. So what we ended up doing is we took our old world menu class here, and we turned it into a reusable class. And in order to do that, all we did is we removed our options that were specific to our world scene, and we made those an argument so we could pass it in. That way it's a reusable menu component. And we'll see more instances of this once we start on our monster party menu here in a few. And then what we did is we basically just put that under our common folder because we'll be referencing this menu through various scenes. And so now in our new class, we see we no longer have that definition here. And because this is our base class, what we ended up doing is we created a new class called world menu that just extends it, and we just pass in the properties that we actually need. And then our underlying functionality stayed the same because we didn't change anything. All right, because now we're using this new class here, I'm going to go ahead and delete our old menu folder here from under our world subfolder. So we're going to delete that, we'll go and clean up our code. So now we refactored our world menu into a reusable component. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to work on creating a new menu for our monster party scene. So to go ahead and create our new monster party menu, what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and come into our source folder, and I'm going to add a new folder for our party scene. And so I'm just going to name this new folder party. And then under here, I'm going to add in a new class. And so we're going to name this file monster party menu.js. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to copy our code from our world menu into our new class here. And so what we'll go ahead and do is let's update our class name. And so we'll have monster party menu. And now we want to go ahead and update our menu options. And so instead of calling this menu options, we're just going to call this monster party menu options just so it's explicit. And we'll go ahead and update our type definition as well. And we'll go ahead and update that here. So now what we'll want to do is actually update our options. And so for our menu, our first option is going to be select. And this option is going to be used for we need to select a monster as a target of something. So if we're using an item, we'll select a monster so we can use the item on that monster. If we're trying to switch to a monster, we'll go ahead and select that monster so we can switch to them. Our next option is going to be move. And so this is going to be used for moving monsters around in our party. Our next option will be summary. And so this is just going to take us to our summary of our monster or our monster detail scene. Our next option is going to be a new feature we add, and this is going to allow us to release monsters from our party. And then finally, instead of exit, we're going to go ahead and just call this cancel so we can go ahead and leave our menu. So now what we want to do is we need to go ahead and pass in our available menu options to our constructor. And so for our monster party menu, we're going to want our options to be dynamic depending on what actions that are available for the player to take. A good example of this is our release and our move options. These will only be available to us if we access our menu from our world menu. All right, so the next what we'll want to do is we want to go ahead and update our menu options here that we pass in our constructor. And so for our menu options, this is going to be dynamic depending on how the player got to our monster party scene. So a good example of this is if we're in battle, we don't want to show the option to release a monster during battle or to move our monster's order around in battle either. Versus if we access our monster party menu from our world scene, then we'd want those options to be available to the player. And we wouldn't want to show select because there's nothing for the player to choose the monster for. And so to go ahead and do this, what we'll do is we're going to create our initial options that we want to show, and then we're going to go ahead and modify that array depending on what scene we're coming from. And so what we'll do is we'll do a new variable, we'll do const, we're going to do available options, and we'll set that equal to an array. And so in our array, we're going to go ahead and add our type real quick. And so for our type, this will be our monster party menu options, and it'll be an array. And so for our starting options, what we'll do is we'll start off with select at the top. And then we'll go ahead and have summary so we can actually view our monster's details. And then we'll have cancel so we can go ahead and exit out. So now what we'll want to do is if we are coming from our world scene, we don't want to show our select option. And instead we want to go ahead and show our move option and our release option. If we're coming from our battle scene or our inventory scene, then we don't want to show those two. We would only show our initial set here. And so to go ahead and do that, we're going to have to update our constructor to expect a new argument. And so we're just going to pass in our previous scene name since we'll have that available to us. So we'll do previous scene name, and we'll go ahead and add that type. So go ahead and paste this. It's going to be a string. So now what we can do is we'll check that previous scene name. If it's equal to our scene keys dot world scene, what we'll want to do is remove this option. And so one way to do this is we can use the splice method on our array to remove items and also add items at that index. And so we'll do our available options. We're going to use splice. And so how this works is we need to provide our starting index of where we want to make this change at. We're going to start at index 0 because we want to go ahead and remove this first element here. And so with splice, we can go ahead and choose how many else we want to remove. We only want to remove one, so it's going to go ahead and remove select here. Then what we can do is if we want to go ahead and add something in its place, this is where we can do that. And so we're going to do a monster party menu options, and we're going to go ahead and do move. All right, then, so next, what we need to do is we want to go ahead and add in our option for being able to release a monster. So let's go ahead and copy this. And then what we're going to go ahead and do is we want to go ahead and use our release option. And with release, what we want to do is we want to insert that element right before our cancel element here. And we can also do that with splice. What we can do is we can choose our target index, so 2, so be 0, 1, 2, and we don't actually want to remove anything. Instead, we want to insert this element at that location, and it's going to bump the other ones to the next index. And so we'll insert release there. So now that we've dynamically built out our available options, we need to go ahead and pass that into our super method, and then that way it's passed to our base menu class. All right, with that brings this video to an end. So as a reminder, there's a link in the description of the video to the complete source code for this video, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did enjoy the video, please consider liking the video and hitting the bell icon to be notified when the next video in the series is released. For more Great Phaser 3 content, please see the links on your screen now.